Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Still no coffee. This is the hotel edition. I am traveling, and this is part of my new duties with the company I work for. I'm a little bit disheveled at the moment, but you know, it is what it is. It was a long drive. I had to drive, of course it's the holiday, so I had to drive an extra 45 minutes. For normally a 4-hour drive, it took me almost 5 to get here. It wasn't bad. I have to admit the traffic, although it was busy, everybody was fairly respectful. I'm not a super fast driver. I don't hang out in the fast lanes. I'm usually right there in the granny lane or the middle lane. I usually do 5 to 7 miles over the speed limit when I'm in my car. I try to leave early enough where I don't have to be in a hurry. And if I'm not in a hurry, it seems to make the day go better. I did find out that I have to be awake and at work a lot earlier than I thought I was by about 4 hours. So I should have left a lot earlier and got here a lot earlier so I could get the needed rest. This is my first time doing this job with this company. It's going to be interesting, I think. I think it's going to be enjoyable. I have yet to find something with this company that I don't enjoy doing, that I don't find rewarding. I don't mention the company's name because I don't want anybody to think that this podcast is in any way associated with it, and I'm not ashamed of the company, and I don't fear being fired. If someone really wants to know who I work for, I'm sure they can find out. But kind of keep my vlog or podcast, if you will, separate from my profession of truck driver, and been pretty successful up to this. This is my 251st episode, and it's I enjoy doing it, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do it at the hotel when I got here, or in the morning, or at all, but I feel like I should have some consistency in podcasting. The traffic today. Let's talk about traffic and the rules of the road just a little bit. Some of the things that I noticed today was a lot of people hanging out in the left lane. I passed quite a few people on the right today. And if you're being constantly passed by someone on the right-hand side, then you're at least one lane too far over. Some of the cities I went through today had 4, 5, and 6 lanes, and I was usually either in the first, the granny lane, or the second one over. I drive better when I'm by myself. When I have company in the car with me, I'm not that great a driver. I tend to want to talk to them, and I've noticed this about other people in my family. I'm looking at you, Jim. They tend to want to have eye contact when they're talking, which is great when you're in a conversation, but not so much when you're the operator of the vehicle. So I do pretty good when I'm by myself. I turn on a podcast and I crank it up, and I really, pay attention to the road. And so if you're in the left lane and you're getting passed on the right, you need to move over. In my home state of Georgia, they have the slowpoke law. They also have the super speeder law. It's a different situation. But if you're caught holding up traffic in the left-hand lane, they can give you a sizable ticket. I don't know that they're enforcing it. I'm not sure. I've never met anybody that has gotten that sort of ticket, and I certainly haven't. I've occasionally, when I have the wife in the car with me, she'll say, "Are you just going to live in this lane?" And I'll get over to the right because, well, she's a great conversationalist, and I love talking to her. But there's that. And then at the roundabouts, it seems like Americans are very confused about roundabouts and how to use them. And just a quick recap on roundabouts. If you come to a roundabout and there's no one in the roundabout, you don't have to stop. And you don't have to turn your right turn signal on. You can, but if you're coming up to a roundabout, you have to turn right. Turn right, and it's a yield situation. So if you have, enough room to go through that roundabout, go on. Now when you're exiting, the guy behind you will probably very much appreciate that turn signal, and the guy waiting at the yield sign in front of you will really appreciate the turn signal as you exit the roundabout. I'm guilty as anybody else here in America. This is something that we just don't have a lot of, but they seem to be popping up more and more all over the place. I'm not going to sit here and preach all night about traffic and driving abilities. I am going to mention Waze. And Waze is spelled W-A-Z-E, Waze. I know that all of the traffic is reported to all of the different mapping apps now. I don't know if you could hear that airplane just went over. We're right next to the airport. At any rate, all the mapping apps now use traffic reporting to help reroute you. But I've used Waze now for, oh my gosh, let's see, I started, it must be 15 years I've been using Waze. It doesn't have a satellite view. It's a very basic map, and it's very accurate as far as rerouting you. And I think that's because it uses crowdsource. So if I come up and I'm stuck in heater kicking on, I'm stuck in a traffic jam, I can report it, or I believe that Waze also detects when I'm doing a slowdown. I know it does because it's asked me in the past, are you in a traffic jam? And it's much more effective like that. And today it saved me, I know, a good hour and a half of a traffic jam. I was coming up on a larger city. Actually, 2 times it has saved me today. I came up on a large city in Charlotte, and instead of having me go straight through the city, which is how it had me going at first, it rerouted me and had me going across to the east of the city. And then I got a little bit closer, and it rerouted me out of the way to the southwest of the city. So basically, I got off I-77, I went southwest, and I went around Charlotte, and I went over I-85, which is the interstate I needed to be on, and then I went over I-77, which is the interstate I got off of, and then when I got to the north side of 85 in Charlotte, or the east, however you want to look at it, I got on 85 at that point. I have learned to trust Waze. The second time it saved my butt, I got to see it. I didn't get to see what was going on in Charlotte or on the East Bypass, but the second time I got to see it. The mapping program Waze, it had me get off of the interstate at a strange spot, but like I said, I've learned to kind of appreciate how accurate it is. So I jumped off the interstate and I followed the directions, and the next thing I know, I'm on a frontage road going by I-85, and they are sitting still, and it went on for a good 5 miles. The frontage road would break away from the interstate and come back, but every time it did come back, I got to see all those cars sitting there. If you're not using Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps, I think Waze is the most accurate as far as traffic conditions goes. Man, you're missing out on a time-saving mechanism. And I would highly, I am not getting paid by Waze or any of these other mapping programs. They're just awesome. They are worth it, and especially during the holiday seasons, they can save you lots of time. In retrospect, I'm guessing it saved me probably between an hour and a half and 2 hours today in travel time. And even though I had to go out of the way to do it, it's still faster than just going straight and getting caught up in all these traffic jams because of accidents or just heavy traffic or construction is what it ended up being on the second rerouting that it did for me. I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Ours had its ups and downs. It was a bit tumultuous, but we got through it. I love my family. They are very supportive when things are difficult, and they let me know that they're thinking of me. And that's very important to me. So I would give this Thanksgiving 2 thumbs up, because I really did have a good Thanksgiving. And I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And it is Monday. If you're seeing this, well, let's just say it's pre-recorded, but it is Monday, and I hope that you guys all have a marvelous Monday. I hope you go out there and kick it square in the teeth and make it yours. Mondays can be challenging, but Mondays are still a blessing from the above, and I've really learned to appreciate, to take into account all time that we are given on this earth. It's very important that we do that. I hope you have a great Monday. I hope you go out there and you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, Lahi Throat. She says I say that wrong. It's one word. Let me try it again. Until next time, Lahi Throat. I hope that was better. Ciao.